The area that I'm looking at today is part of the city of Brighton and Hove, although you'd be hard pushed to know that if you were to look at it today. High up on the South Downs east of Woodingdean, a look at any pre-1940s map will show you the hamlet of Balsdean. This is a map from the late 19th century, before Woodingdean and Saltdean had basically been invented. But any post-war map shows the buildings and community are no longer there. So what happened? The history of Balsdean is long and ancient, but it was never a place of great significance. The Norman chapel had been a barn for several centuries, and the hamlet consisted of some farm buildings, a farmhouse for the manor, and some other cottages, which, in later years, were occupied by farm workers. There's no real history of note. The original layout of the areas was that there were two farms, Sutton Farm in the south of the valley and Norton Farm to the north, with a chapel dating from around 1147 in the middle of them. In 1759, the Vicar of Rottingdean was required to conduct a service only 4 times a year in the chapel, and by 1724 it was referred to as the Old Chapel. After this point, it appears only to have been used as a barn. Despite Sutton Farm also appearing to be referred to as Balsdean Manor Farm, as far as I am aware, the location of the original manor house is unknown, with the farmhouse that was extant until the Second World War built around 1790. During the 19th century, Norton Farmhouse was used as an asylum, being established in 1825 and mostly running without notable incident for what appears to be 4 years, before the inmates were transported to what is described as a large and convenient house in beautiful surroundings near Ringmer. I can't find any references to the use of this place as an asylum after this date, so I assume that the use was just a brief 4-year period. During the early 20th century, the only event of note that I can find in the area was the building of a pumping station in 1936, although this is some distance from the hamlet, being positioned almost a mile to the south. Things changed for the residents of Balsdean quite considerably during the Second World War though, with the area increasingly being used for military training. The end effectively came for the villagers in May 1942 when, with very little notice, they were informed that they would have to leave the village for good. Unlike Tyneham in Dorset, which met with a similar fate, none of the buildings were saved, and contemporary photographs show their systematic destruction by the army, who used them as target practice. The following images are from a scrapbook made by Captain Bertie Hubbard McLaren, who was the Superintendent of Parks for the Brighton Corporation. Following the end of the war, there was nothing left to return to. All of the buildings were gone, the houses and the Norman chapel had been reduced to rubble. The only buildings in the valley today are 3 dilapidated post-war barns, 2 of which have no roofs and appear to mostly be used for sheep shearing. The whole of the village area is now access land within the South Downs National Park, and although it falls into the boundary of the city of Brighton and Hove, its secluded location means that you will only see a few walkers and mountain bikers if you visit it. I hope that you enjoyed this Sussex map mystery. Don't forget to check out the playlist for more, including the mystery of the town which was marked on maps and never built. thanks to all the people and websites I have linked to in the description. Without your help, the making of this video would not have been possible. Extra thanks go to the museums of Brighton and Hove, whose digital archive provided high-definition copies of the old photographs. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon for another Sussex map mystery.